Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space, and today I'm having a little play and I thought you might like to come and join me. We're just going to be needing some scrap card, which is plain on both sides, so no marketing. This is an insert, I think came from a shirt, something like that. We're going to want scissors, we're going to need a stick glue, we're probably going to want the hole punch in varying sizes, maybe the small ones. I've got a 1/2 inch and I've got a 3/4 inch, so I'm going to be using those. I will bring in a washi tape if you've got some washi tape, and if you haven't you could use napkin. And if you haven't got that, you could use tissue paper, which you put some stamps on. Lots of options, so you don't need to feel left out if you haven't got the things. We can always come up with an alternative. And you either need, if you've got anything that will make a hole punch, you could have that. You could have a pokey tool or a needle or an awl, something to poke a hole in. And we're not making buttons, but we're sort of making buttons. Without further ado, let's just have a play and see where it takes us. And we're just going to be cutting some strips. Now I will use washi tape, so I want to roughly understand how wide that is. That looks like it's about 2.5 inches, maybe 3. So I'm just going to cut that in no particular straight fashion, it doesn't matter. This is quite thick card, it's almost thicker than a greeting card, but cereal box thickness. If you've got anything like that, greeting card is perfect, that's fine. I'll cut another strip here, similar, and then I'll do the same here. You don't need to do this, you just need one really, but I thought I'd give some options of what we can do if you haven't got all the things. So the first option to go with, and this was worked very well the other day when I was looking at punching out circles, was washi tape. And this is a lovely washi tape from the looks of it. Another one I haven't used, but it's got butterflies on it, so that's always a win for me. Is that one wider? Perhaps this one's a bit wider. So I am lining my white cardstock, which is a scrap piece that came out of a shirt packaging just to keep my husband's shirt straight in the packet. So using waste products where we can. If you haven't, you could get a piece of card and cover it with white paper, only if you're using washi tape, because you do want the washi tape to ping off in its design. But if you've got darker cream card or that would work as well. Start with a light background. The lighter you can get it, the better. Alright, that's that. That was very quick, wasn't it? So on this one we'll use napkin. Let's just move those out of the way. So I'm just using a lunch napkin, and this is 3-ply. Taking my bone folder, I'm just squashing down the dimples on one corner like that, and that now allows me to pull them apart. Easy peasy, okay? This is 3-ply, so there is another one hidden there, and I'm just pulling them apart like that. No need for sellotape, which will then rip one of the sheets, because the plain white sheets are very useful if you put them down on a sheet of plastic and paint glue over the plastic, then put the sheet down, glue on top, leave it to dry, you have yourself a glassine style material. Which you can then make bags out of, which we've done on this channel, and I'll leave that link at the end of this video. You can have a look at how we did that. So I'm just wanting the top layer here. This is 1-ply thickness, and I'm just going to take a sample piece where there's a lot going on with the flowers and everything. And now we've got plenty more to add to other projects, so we can fold that up and reuse that elsewhere. Or do this on a bigger scale if this works out. But we're just doing sample today so that we can see. I was thinking about doing a wet glue, but now I think that might be too crinkly and it may not be necessary. So let's go with a stick glue. I'll put down a piece of paper and then we can save anything getting too sticky. Covering it up, I do find that this glue is very good. Scotch glue is very good as well for anything fine like a tissue paper or a napkin paper, because it doesn't leave clumps. It's nice, smooth and creamy and glides onto the project, and it would glide over the napkin as well. That's why it's so good. So that's going to curl up with the glue. I might just leave it over there with a paperweight on it just to keep that straight. Then we had this sort of idea. Put that down there. I like that because there's a bit of a crinkle that's come in, because that was a tissue paper that was taken from packaging, the sort of thing that you could expect to find in a bag, a brand new bag. They stuff it full, or in shoes. So it's just shoe paper. Okay, so we've got black and white images there which we've stamped ourselves. Some of these stamps were Tim Holtz stamps and others there I just had them. They might have been silicone stamps. I've got this washi tape which has got it's got black and white images on it as well. That's quite nice. So I'm going to do a strip of that. This is one that I don't use. It's probably lost its stick, so I'll just put a bit down there. I don't use it because it's got lots of little images on. So if you've got any washi tapes with little images like that, this is a good idea, I think. They look so good together. I think that that could almost be a nice tag, but that's not what we're doing today, but that's another idea, so we need to write that one down. I'll just do a bit more here because I can see there's ones that I haven't got on this side, which is good washi tape then, isn't it? Because that gives you lots of images. Look, there's a pine cone there, and a watch, and a leaf. Oh. So this, whoopsie, this would make a nice, it's also got a bit sticky as I've put, oh look, and there's an owl, guys. Oh, I think we want the owl. Let's just get the owl. All right, and the owl. Lovely owl and berries there. I don't think it still hasn't repeated. Oh yes, just coming in there now with the repeat. So that's a lot of little images on one little tiny roll. That was a good one. I didn't know that. That's very good. All right, so I've got plenty of little images there. Then we've got this. Then we've got this. So in that quick moment, we've managed to make quite a lot of different types of image cards that we could work with. That's brilliant. For this, we're now going to do it all again, but on the other side. Right, so everything now has a front and a back. Good. We're just going to let that dry for a second or two in this heat. Very hot rooms. Craft room is almost as hot as the sun today. So we're trying to get this done before the sun comes round and I fry. I like that. So this one we can definitely do, whilst the glued ones will have to just give them a bit more time. So I'm just running the bone folder over the top and making sure the washi tape is fully stuck down. I'm going to be mindful to choose a really nice image, and you can see there's not much going on the back. Whee! I'm going to go in with a small one as well. One's got a few letters on it. I'm going to aim them down because they're going to be firing off all over the place. I don't want to think about it too much, so not able to get the punch close enough, you just cut off a bit and then go again. Whee! Oh, this is great. I love this because we don't always use the circles, do we? So I have made my own buttons before, where we just use book page, and then you know, you have to paint some glossy accents or some sticky stuff or something like an embossing over the top. But with this, I just don't think you have to, because the washi tape is so nice. It gives you a texture. Oh, just caught my finger there, that hurt. Let's go with the bigger one. Less perilous. How about that? It's pretty. Ooh. And then you get sort of a surprise on the front and the back. You might be able to get that stamp like that. Oh, look guys, that's really sweet. Okay, this is nice. And you get the lovely feel of the paper as well. So that's the way to go with this idea. All right, and then finally this one I think wanted the small punch so that I could just get some of these smaller elements. Smaller punch will punch out some of those. Like the pocket watch there. I just have the owl. Oh. So these ones are all beautiful. So we want a few from all of them. We'll just take a selection of those. Let me do a bigger one, then we can see what we're doing just for the demo. I have here this punch. Now I want to maybe angle it so I don't go through the image of that berry, and I'm going to be doing it at the top, just punching through. Hasn't quite worked because it is thick card, this. So we'll just do it a few times until we've punched through. Alright, so we've got holes in that one, and we just go around and do them again. So maybe some of the smaller ones, they don't need holes. Top and bottom, just top will be fine. Okay, that is not that fun, so I'm going to go in with just a punching tool and just make a hole that way. Okay. Oh, this is for jewellery. That's easy. So if you've got something like that, you know, there's lots of ways just to make a hole. I've got my awl here, and I think this is another way that you could do it. I've got a bit of chipboard here, and I'm just going to poke a hole through there, through to the board and out the other side, and then just a simple way. You will get a raised bit on the back, but if you're going to be threading it onto maybe a bulb pin, a bell pin, here we are, this sort of thing, you will then not really see it at the back anyway, and it just can swing off of something like that, and then that's really fun. Right, fabric or lace, one of our little disc beads. How about that as a name? A disc bead. And then, you know, maybe another, I don't know, maybe another bigger bead, something dangling off of it. That's not the best example, but that's the sort of idea. You could make swing dangles. There's lots of tutorials out there for something like that. And then the other idea I've got here, which I've just done off camera, just to be a bit more prepared, is something like this. So this is the one where I've got 2 holes punched through, and maybe I want to just show you on a card like that. How pretty does that look? So that could be something in a journal for summertime. We've got the sun coming through the window now, but hopefully you can see that. Some sort of embellishment, certainly. And all that is just threading it through the 2 holes that we've just put in there and putting 2 knots. And then, you know, we go again with a needle. So we'd want this to go through like that. And then if you wanted it to come down and be something, you could leave it like that, but you've got the knot, and then just build it up so it's that sort of an idea. So that's the next one, and it's stopped because there's a knot there so that you can still see that, but you could put in a further knot further up so you have it like that. And the brilliant idea, I think, here is that they're flat. So that they're flat, and then there we are. You could bit of glue, and I think the embroidery thread adds to it. I think that's nice. So that's nice. They do lots of those and have them dangling off of a spine. You could tie all the threads onto one of these clips up here, and then have all your embellishments. And how cool would that look with all the little discs? Costs nothing, not really, because you might even have, like me, scrap bits of washi tape, or you've only got to stick it down and start punching out on a bit of card, and you've got an absolute mass of interesting disc type circle beads. To do something like that, make a bracelet even. Get your children involved, get the grandkids underway. Friendship bracelets, dingle dangles, all sorts of ideas there, just with that one simple washi tape idea, which could quite easily be a digital kit as long as it's glued down nicely. And I definitely think it's worth trying. I shall do it myself. Printing somebody's nice digital kit, one of these lovely backgrounds. You know, we've got 25% off of the digital kits Antonio makes at the moment using Melanie 25. So there's he's got some most beautiful backgrounds and things. If we print off one of those, I'll perhaps do it tomorrow and see what that looks like on tracing paper, so it's translucent, and then put those on there. You'll get a similar effect to washi tape. Then another idea would be to make, here we go, use them as beads on a jump hoop, like jewellery. Absolutely brilliant. There we go. That looks nice as a little embellishment. You could even put an eyelet in there and have that on there, something to stick down on the journal. Or we could take this paper clip here and swing them off of a paper clip. And then that would go on a page in your journal. And swing out the side. I've picked up the tatty piece of paper here, but it is a very, very old piece of paper. But that looks nice, dangling out the side. It's only paper. It's only just, you know, my old shirt box packaging from my husband's shirt and a bit of old washi tape that's just lying around. You know, that could quite easily have been used in exactly the same way, just scrap bits. And then we've got a bit of coffee dyed tracing paper, maybe some fluffy fabric or cheesecloth, dyed cheesecloth, because you can dye cheesecloth, you don't have to go with the white or the gauze, so you could put some ink on that. And then maybe we could just bring in some elements here, like that. Maybe an autumn one with a pine cone, little clusters, maybe, because it is a bit fiddly. So just to recap, that hole punch, that small hole punch, was a 1/2 inch that I'm using here, and then the other one is a 3/4, so that size there is a 3/4 inch hole punch or circle punch. Or we might like the owl and not have that, and make a scene, stick it all down, glue it all down, and then maybe, I don't know, just something like that. Not the owl, not that. Little cluster here, which has got a nice sound to it. You could bring in a button, and then you could bring in one of these as well, or perhaps those. That's lovely, isn't it? And that one is the one that I've put, if you can see that, but that one has got 2 holes in it, so you could sew there, or you could swing things off of it. So we could have that, and then we could use this one off of the end of that one. Having a go at that, but there you go, look, that's a really cool dangle. Let's do that up so I don't hurt myself. And then that wants to maybe pin on there, but you've got the interesting bits. So the whole thing goes down onto your page like that. So we'll just move those out of my way. I have brought in some scraps of lace here, and I've got this, and I'm going to have a look at the long side of the paper clip. You can see we've got the shorter side there where it opens, and we've got the long flat side there. And I think what I'll do is I'll just hook in the lace here. I don't know what length this is, 3 inches let's say. Looks like it, 2.5, 3 inches maybe. And we can roll it over the top, so we're now secure there. Let's have a look. Maybe fold over 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. So we can see if we put holes in them and start putting on our jump rings and or tie on our fabric or start sewing them, that will result in swings and dangles and jewellery elements. But we don't have to get involved in sewing if you would like to assemble something quickly, and this is quite a nice idea. I've just got glue there, just clean that off. Is to take something like this. I'm just trying to work out which side is the way up. I think that's the back. Little bit of glue down the centre here, and add that to the middle. So we've double laced, so we've got a vintage lace at the back, and then we've got a crocheted lace at the front, and I'll just putting on the Fabri-Tac because that is a really strong fabric glue. Alright, now I've lost my fabric scissors, they've gone walkabout. There we are, found them. That's good news. Cut off that so it's all the same length. And then, so the paper clip will open and it'll go onto the page that way. So if you wanted it to go the other way, you'll have to orientate it the other way. Or you could make it so it could go either way and it wouldn't matter then. But for the reason of keeping things thin, I shall just do it the way that I think I want it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just pick out some of these lovely circles, which I'm now going to use as a resource and pull them in. And perhaps if I bring it up here so we can all see what I'm up to with the sun rays beaming on it. So this is just an idea. So I've got the owl there, so this could be sort of more autumn theme. So he could sit there, right? Then we could even have an overlapping, maybe postmark, so he's like the postmaster, or he could be overlapping that way. Maybe that makes more sense. And then I think probably, let me look at it. Well, that's quite nice with the 1937 date showing through. And then we could even put on, you could put on something else that ties it into autumn and the fall, woodland, or you could put on berries and sort of change that real, it's more of a winter woodland scene. Or you could put a pocket watch and give it a bit of a whimsical, fun theme where there's a story going there. That's a bit more childlike. Or you could put in something very simple, like book page. Or something beautiful, like an abstract picture there. And so it's really up to you how you want it and what you're going to add to it and what you think's nice and what the colour tones are and all the rest of it and how you want to overlap it or whether you want to stack it up and be like that. But what I'm suggesting is that they're all glued down, so nothing's swinging about and it's all one piece. Maybe I would like something like this. And even, because I've got a hole in this one, I could have one swinging off the bottom if I wanted to. The absolute endless ideas of how to use beads. Obviously, as we've seen throughout history, beads are used in multiple different ways and fun applications of how you can put it all together. But here is just some idea of one little way in which you could do totally different themes based on the same idea. So that's now up to me to what I want to put in my journal. Now I'm just going to take away the white edge of that, and I could choose a blue colour for my blue toned ones, and just an aged vintage, which is a go-to, isn't it, on these ones. That's fine. But I could also have chosen a grey colour, which would have worked. And so there we've got 3, which I think always works quite nicely. And then just sort of move everybody down a bit if you think it's up too high. And if you want to add anything on the bottom, like any extra beads or dangles, that's fine. Or in this case, I think I might just want to take off a fraction more, like that. Add that in. And then that, you know, that will tuck something in tomorrow, and the prompt is tuck in, so I think that will just finish off that. But nice embellishment, nice and flat, not adding any bulk, multiple options of what you can do, lots of different colourways, and obviously then, you know, using up napkin and things like that would be very Very nice to have had the flower one there as well. So I'm just going to make a bunch of these, and I might swap them out and change them, but that's certainly the one for today, and that answers the prompt of cut out for the Junk Journal July. I hope you've enjoyed that, and that's given you some inspiration of how to use scrap lace and paper clips and circles and all the little bits and pieces that you can find, how you would do that and develop that idea. Okay guys, so thanks for watching. I've had a super time, and above all else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.